my last day as a college professor, I turned my keys in, turned my laptop in, walked down the hall, did one last nostalgic walk around, left campus, and had nowhere to be. No meetings, no classes, no office hours. I thought it'd feel like freedom. It felt like falling. And that's where this book starts. If you've ever been at the edge of a major life change, like a retirement, then this video is for you. I'm Bill Anderson. I spent 20 years as a public relations professional, another 15 as a college professor. I had the tenure, the publications, the respect of being professor. I had the expertise. If someone came and knocked on my door, I was ready with an answer. I had it all from the job standpoint. But I was miserable. Not dramatically miserable, not crisis miserable, but just quietly unsettled. I just didn't fit anymore into that life. But when I left, I didn't understand how much of my life was built around that structure. Even if you don't like work, it still provides some framework for your life. And by leaving that, I experienced what I now call the 9-to-5 hangover. What am I? Who am I? Without that structure, without that framework, without that identity as professor. The job gave me all of that, even if I wasn't happy in it. So I did something I probably should have done years earlier. I left, and instead of trying to figure everything out from behind a desk, I went out into the world, sold everything except for what fit into a small backpack, and I started traveling, volunteering, walking, writing across Thailand, Vietnam, Brazil, Australia, New Zealand, and more. So I wrote this book called Retire and Reignite to talk about that journey, because tens of thousands of people are retiring every day, and some of them have figured out the financial part. They understand the withdrawal rate, they understand the spreadsheets, but maybe they haven't thought as much about the emotional toll, the social toll, the psychological toll of retiring. They've got the money, but now they need to build the life. And often when you're trying to build that life, you don't necessarily think, who am I when I'm not working? What gives my life structure when the calendar empties? How do I build community when I'm no longer surrounded by colleagues? What does purpose look like when there's no more ladder to climb? So my book is about answering those questions and how I started answering them. I don't expect anyone to have the same answers that I did, but the book does challenge you, encourage you, guide you in answering the questions for yourself. This book is about volunteerism. For instance, I was in New Zealand volunteering at a yoga retreat. I thought, wow, they could really use my help with my marketing expertise, my social media expertise, my storytelling expertise. What they really needed was for me to dig trenches in the trail, because the trail got muddy when it rains, and digging trenches make sure people don't slip and fall. I thought, what a waste of my brain power. Until the volunteer coordinator stood by me one day and said, this trench you're digging is helping people find the peace they need to find. And then it hit me. I wasn't there to just give them what I wanted. I was there to give them what they needed. And what they needed was help with my hands, not my brain. I also found that I enjoyed having the immediate impact of doing something physical. So I took a deep breath and said, maybe volunteerism is not about me. Maybe it's about how I show up and help. And that was a sea change for me. This book is also about finding community when you don't have that structure of work colleagues anymore. For instance, I almost drowned in Vietnam. Me and 4 other volunteers were out swimming with our host, and the tide just turned. We tried to swim back and just couldn't. We were slammed into rocks, One of the guys came out looking like he just came from a cage fight. Another person was taken out on a stretcher. We all survived, but we all learned a valuable lesson that day. And I still remember being in the water. I wasn't thinking about my work, about my awards, my publications. I was thinking about my two sons and how much I missed them and how much I loved them and how proud I was of them. So I got my priorities right real quick, and I got extremely close with the people who were in the water with me. So learning how to form bonds when you're on the road is incredibly important. This book is also about learning how to travel light, not just physically, but emotionally. It's also about learning how to walk, not walking to get your power steps in, but learning how to notice what's around you, learning how to slow down and be present. Most of all, it's about that question that's underneath all the other questions. What does a meaningful life look like on the other side of a career? And that's, again, an answer that I have, but it's not your answer. The book talks about my experience, but really it's about helping you think through what should your experience look like. So this book is for you if you're approaching retirement and are terrified about it not being like you imagined it would be. This book is also for you if you're already retired and you're looking around thinking, this is not what I got from the brochures. So building a life of purpose is what this book is all about. It's called Retire and Reignite. The link is in the description. It's also in the first pinned comment. So please check it out. And if you're not ready to buy it yet, that's okay. Check out some of the videos. I'll be coming back and talking about what I learned about travel and slow walking, purposeful volunteering, and just learning to live on the other side of this thing called retirement. And here's what I'll leave you with. I'm not special. I'm not braver than you. I just got uncomfortable enough for long enough that I had to move. And then I found I needed to move in a certain direction. So thinking that through of where do I want to move? How do I want to move through this life without the work structure? That was important for me, and I wanted to share it with you.